Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with Nile TV International. Welcome back to Nile TV's extensive continuous coverage of the American-Israeli-Iranian war. With us now in the studio is Dr. Ahmed Ishak, Professor of International Relations. Dr. Ishak, good evening. Thank you very much for coming to us on this Ramadan evening. A lot is happening, Dr. Ishak. We are confused. I mean, when will this war end? Mr. Trump said very soon, but the actions we're seeing on the ground and the Iranian response, it's now Iran that's the Revolutionary Guards Corps that is saying, we don't want negotiations, we want the war to go on. So, I mean, where are we? I mean, are we nearing the end of the war, or are we still in the early stages? Please, does diplomacy have a chance? Tell us how you view the situation.
First of all, thank you for you and all for the whole audience to be here with you. Honestly, we can't expect what would happen in the next few days, because we are now for sure that we are between two parties that we can't expect what they are going to do. On the first side, we find the American president, Donald Trump, who is always unexpected, and with that we can't be for sure know what is in his plan. He is always, maybe he says he is going to right, and we found the left side. And on the other side, we also find the Iranian, who are always has the same tactics and same strategy.
Unpredictability. They are both unpredictable.
For sure. Yeah. So, before the war was beginning, the American was in a rush to engage in this war. They expected that this war would take a few days, and then they could finish it as they want, and we would achieve their targets as soon as possible. On the other side, the Iranian wasn't in need for this war, and they are trying to do what they can do for not to intervene in this war. But now, after the war had been engaged, now we find the opposite
scenario.
So how
exactly, Dr. Ishaq, this is what's really confusing. After 1, 2, 3 days of the war, Mr. Trump was saying it's too late for negotiations. And we had heard from Mr. Larijani, a member of the National Security Council of Iran, saying, and Arakji, the Iranian foreign minister, signals that they want to negotiate. Now, Mr. Trump says that he's ready to talk to the Iranians, and it's the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps that's saying, we don't want to negotiate, we want this war to go on. This is very unexpected.
Yes.
So why? Why are we in is it because Iran overwhelmed the Americans and the Israelis with the response? I mean, does that mean that the Iranian response was much bigger than the Americans and Israelis expected?
In my point of view, the Iranian had succeeded in passing their first strike. It was expected that by the first strike by the American and eliminating or murdering the higher rank and the supreme leader, Iran would be hesitated, wouldn't take its decision, the decision making. So after the Iranian succeeded in creating and having a new supreme leader, and the chain of taking decisions had been completed.
Reactivated, now, and the missiles are even increasing.
For sure. So the Iranian found that once the war is going, is taking longer, the international economy, the American would suffer more. It would make more pressure on Donald Trump, especially we are about on the Congress election by the next November. So they think that.
So it's the oil factor here, the gasoline factor, the Strait of Hormuz factor.
Sure, as we found that it's the oil and the gasoline in U.S. had been increased by 20%. So it's too
And
much.
in Europe by 50.
Sure, it's too much for the we are talking about the American
Right.
as they are the partner
Right.
of the war. So it's a very heavy for the American. Why we are engaging this war and we are affording 20%? Is it for Israel? It is not what we want. What is the American interest in this war? That's the point. So
You know, supporting your point, Dr. Ishaq, we saw opinion polls and statistics about opinion polls in the United States regarding wars. And historically, this is the war that has the lowest, the smallest number of percentage of supporters throughout the history of American wars.
for sure.
At the outset, at the beginning of the war.
For sure. Why? Because most of the Americans didn't know why do they engage this war. There is no a direct interest or profit for the American to engage this war. It's only for Israel. So, and after the Gaza war, the support for the Israel had been reduced for the lowest since it's the born of this of Israel country. So as a result, the American doesn't support this war. They felt that it makes a high burden and increase the inflation in the American economy for what? For Israel? It is not it's their major target. So this point the Iranian understood very well. So they thought that, or they think that it's very important for the Iranian regime to push or oblige Trump to think many times before he is going to attack Iran another time. Because
and there is a risk, Dr. Ishaq, sorry for interrupting you, but along with the oil factor or the inflation factor or the economic factor, there's another factor here. Already there have been 7 American soldiers who have been killed in this war and over 100 and nearly 150 wounded. And the risk here that if this number with one single incident, one single missile, spirals, this will put even more pressure on Mr. Trump. So there is the risk of American casualties, which already are there. And there is also another risk regarding the fact that it's not Venezuela. It's not 2, 3, 4 days. We're not going to capture someone and put someone else in place. So the risk of not removing the second supreme leader, or maybe the third or fourth if we get there, that's another risk.
Sure.
For the Americans.
Sure, for sure, because it's the casualties of the American is expected to increase in the next day if the war is going on. Why? Because the American bases in Gulf countries, in Israel, had been attacked highly, and its ability to...
That's another embarrassment for the Americans.
For sure.
And Mr. Trump was very angry about especially about the striking of the American embassy in Riyadh, because he was quoted as saying that the Iranians will pay a price for the soldiers they have killed and for the embassy in Riyadh that was targeted. So there was another embarrassment. So there was another risk.
Sure.
More embarrassment.
Yeah, sure. So as a result of attacking American bases, American embassies, so it's expected that maybe the American casualties and murdered, especially murdered, would be increased in the next days. So as a result, it is there is a first concern for the American, the cost of the war, which is unexpected till the moment. The number of casualties, which is also unexpected till the moment, and it is expected to increase for every new day, and is for once the war is going longer. So now by the day we find
so there is an economic cost, there is the casualty cost, there is the political cost, there is the embarrassment cost, if I may call it so, being embarrassed with its own allies. I mean, the Arab Gulf countries are America's allies.
Sure.
And they have not been protected the way they should have been.
Sure, for sure. And we can find that the Arabian Gulf countries are using their pressure and leverage with the American to exert all efforts to cease fire and stop this war and halt.
So we understand from you now the risk from the American side.
Sure.
If the war continues. What about the risk from the Iranian side?
Sure.
There must be a huge risk from the Iranian side. The Iranians have lost a lot. The nuclear program, the missile capabilities, the civilian casualties, the casualties within the military, within the Basij, within the oil facilities that have been struck in Iran. Today, we heard about clashes between gunmen, between guerrillas and police and security and Basij forces in Tehran. This is something new. There is unrest. So there is also a risk, a big risk from the Iranian side. Yes, the regime is still intact, but if this drags on for much, much longer, chaos is a huge risk.
So for sure, the case is one.
Not just for Iran, but for the entire for the entire region. By the way,
one of the expected scenarios that a civil war in Iranian, because on the other side we may found that the Iranian are suffering in the economic field. They are founding by every day. They are airstrikes, bombing every place. Many casualties also. So it's so hard for the Iranian, but there is we can find that the Iranian personality and characters that abstracted from the Persian and nationalization, that they are so proud of themselves and they have kind of ego of Iranian personality. Sure, and it's also based on Iranian Shia religion,
yes,
because that depends on sacrifice. So the Iranian may seem to be more stubborn and to
more
look
resilient.
Like, yeah, sure, to resist all the.
So you believe the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps when they say we are ready for 6 more months if needed?
As we mentioned before,
because 6 months is a lot.
It's too much, but they are saying something and they are doing another. They may. It's
like the Americans.
As you say, yeah,
like
sure, for
Mr.
sure.
Trump.
But they are. It's what we can say. They are. It's just like a chess game. They are playing something, and their intention is totally different. So as a result, we can both parties. We can't expect what they are going to do, what they are thinking, but what we may.
I like this point. I mean, you're back to the original point you started with, that both parties are unpredictable.
So, for sure. So once we are talking, when would this war would be finished? It may be finished today, and it may last for many weeks. It is no one would have a right expectation in this point, because both of them, as we mentioned from the last experience, that they are not expected.
You know which party is predictable? The third party, Israel. Because everybody knows what it wants. It has said what it wants.
For sure.
And it wants to continue forever if it can. If it goes for 10 years, they are ready, because they want to. Because the Israeli goal is not hidden. It's greater Israel.
Sure. But
so-called greater Israel.
But maybe I have another point of view in this point. Israel would accept this war to last forever only on one condition: when the Americans are engaged with them. But if, and only if, the war is between Israel and Iran, Israel wouldn't afford that. So we find
and that's why the Israeli war crime suspect Prime Minister Netanyahu wanted to make use of Mr. Trump's presence in office. He knows he has 2 or 3 years, so he wants to, right? Because he will not find another Trump. He may not find another Trump.
For sure. It's for the Israelis. It's he's a fortune. It's something that they couldn't find for another time. But if all of us want to be sure for that the Israelis wouldn't afford a war without the American, the last war in June between Iran and Israel, the war began between Israel and Iran. After few days, the Israelis suffered a lot, and called for the American to intervene. Now, in my point of view, if the American decide to stop to halt the war and ceasefire, the Israel will submit because it had no choice.
Will it also, Israel, stop its offensive on Lebanon? In this case, on Hezbollah? If the Americans decide to stop strikes on Iran, and Mr. Trump declares victory and invents something, or puts it in a way that can trick a lot of people and puts it as a victory, we know that the Iranians will reply by the same. They will also claim victory. What would Israel then do with South Lebanon, with Hezbollah, with Lebanon?
It depends on the deal between the American and the Iranian. If this war would halt, or and the ceasefire would happen by a deal between them, so the Israeli would accept the American rules and American conditions for stopping the war. But if both parties claim victory without reaching a deal, it's expected that, in my point of view, that the Israelis would attack and strike on the ground the south of Lebanon and trying to invade
South Lebanon.
In my point of view, it would try to claim its victory through invading south of Lebanon as a part of Greater Israel.
Israel has very bad memories from South Lebanon in 2006. Do you think, if that happens, do you think they can find again the great resistance that was back then in 2006 that will force them out? Or do you think Hezbollah has been weakened, especially that Iran has been weakened?
There is agreed. We should distinguish between the Israel interest and the Netanyahu interest, because Benjamin Netanyahu wants to claim victory before the election in this year. So he will try to claim victory based on any consequences. It doesn't how much casualties he would afford. It's only.
And here, Netanyahu, the war crime suspect, is like Mr. Trump and like Mr. Mujtaba Khamenei. I mean, they will all claim. They will all try to claim victory.
For sure. So as a result, we are. It's in the Israeli prime minister wouldn't care about anything but his personal interest in the next election. So if the war in this day stopped without destroying the Iranian regime, without eliminating the nuclear atomic system in Iran.
You know, we have to smile when we hear about this, because Mr. Trump back in June of last year said that he had obliterated the nuclear program.
Sure.
So, I mean,
for sure, he said that the
so has it been all obliterated, or is it still there? And this is why we had a war. I mean, this doesn't make sense.
That's as we mentioned before. Both and especially Donald Trump is unexpected. A few months ago, he claimed victory and he announced that
he obliterated the nuclear program.
Sure.
And now he's waging a war because the nuclear program, nuclear bombs will be made in 7 days or 10 days.
For sure. That's it's astonishing. So as a result, we are for sure that the American President Donald Trump is by this moment he is calling for or trying to claim victory, to
He's waiting for the moment, for the right moment when he can claim.
Maybe
when he thinks he can claim victory.
Maybe it's all. I expect that maybe he would. He is attending a special occasion, like, for example, murdering or assassinating one of the high-rank Iranian, maybe the Mujtaba Khamenei.
You know what, Dr. Ishaq, when Mr. Trump said yesterday about the reports of Iran putting explosives and mines in the Hormuz Strait, and he said that if they lift it, the words of Mr. Trump, if they take away these mines, this will be a great step in the right direction. You know, I felt that, or some observers also felt that he wants to get something from Iran so he can then say that they have surrendered.
Yeah, so he wants to claim victory by anything. He wants to get he wants to get back for the American and say, yeah, do you see? I did
what nobody, no other president did.
Since about 50 years now against the Iranian.
Yeah.
But it's me, Donald Trump, achieved blah blah blah, or taking something that no one had do that before. Yeah. So it's only he is caring about nothing but his personal ego.
The legacy,
yeah. So for his claiming.
So one final question, Dr. Ishaq. Does diplomacy still have a chance? I mean, Egypt has been calling for, you know, an end to this war, for negotiations, for political settlements, and Egypt has this strong, wise belief that only the negotiating table can put an end to the loss of civilian life and the terrible repercussions on the global economy, and so France, we've heard about potential French mediation between Lebanon and Israel. We've heard that Mr. Trump is talking with Mr. Putin, the Russian president, about, or Mr. Putin is seeking to get an end to this war. We've seen the Chinese send an envoy to the region, and their voice has been louder than at the start of the war. Europe is talking. Do you think diplomacy still have a chance?
For sure. Every time the diplomacy had a chance, has a chance to reach a deal between both parties, but it depends on the moment that both parties are suffering enough from the war. In this point, both parties will be obliged to reach a deal, maybe through Egypt as a partner, which that can be that both parties can depend on and trust, can be trusted by both of them, especially Egypt now is an ally for the American, for US.
Egypt has the trust of everybody.
Yeah,
Egypt is trusted by everybody.
Even the Iranian now, they are having good negotiation and good relationship with Egypt, and a few months ago that there was an agreement between Iran and the nuclear international agency by Egypt. So it's now we can find that even the Iranian.
But for that to happen, Iran would have to stop their attacks on the Arab countries.
For sure, for sure.
On their neighbors.
And now it would be a complete deal, because Egypt condemns, especially the Iranian strikes and attacks on the Arab
countries and all the neighbors.
Sure, and it's considered as breaching its sovereignty and its territory, and it can't be accepted under any condition. So it's no doubt that we can reach a deal between both parties in only one moment, when both parties are suffering enough by this war.
You know, it's good to hear that an expert like yourself still believes that diplomacy does have a chance. It's good to hear that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed Ishaq, Professor of International Relations. Always a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching us. In about 8 minutes from now, we'll be back with another update here on Nile TV International and Panorama News. Please stay with us.